Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing good, Chirag bhai. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Welcome to my little podcast, the small podcast that I'm driving to talk to people about what drives people to become good leaders, to great leaders, and what they have seen and their traits in their life. So the easiest way is you can start off by, I mean, I would love to listen to the story all over again. I've been part of your life, but I'm sure people will love to listen to your entire experience being a student, studying. If I remember correctly, 18, 19 hours for your chartered accountancy, passing that, and then the corporate job, and then being an entrepreneur for almost 2 decades now, right? So, do share your journey.
So, like when we were growing up, I was never told, nor were you told that we should do business. It was always a job because that wasn't job. And I also had a very fixated mind. School journey was crappy, college journey was crappy. God still knows how I got through CA. I still don't know. My school friends are still surprised, tu kaise CA ban gaya, right? But maybe some financial acumen and some business knowledge. And my initial years in the big fours with ENY and all really helped. But that was a time when I realized that jobs are good, secure, safe to a certain time and extent. But businesses actually help you a lot to become the leader you're meant to be. Like as much as in a corporate you work, but there is always going to be an umbrella under which you got to blossom your leadership. But when the same thing comes out being as an entrepreneur, there is no limit. The sky is absolutely open for you to become the kind of leader you want to become and create the kind of company you want to create.
So, people, what you mentioned was very classic. Folks in jobs want to get into business, folks in business want to do job, and you keep hearing this story and the fight of the grass is greener on the other side. What are your experiences that have been? Because you've been part of two very different worlds.
Yeah. So I'll tell you something, bhai, that people say, no, jobs is better. Some guys in jobs say business is better, but I've experienced both. And like they say, na, I have been rich and I've been poor and I still prefer to be rich. So I've been in jobs, I've been in business. Business is always greener. There is no two questions about it. It is green for those people who are willing to have one factor called courage. It's for those people who are ready to take the steps and take massive action. For the guys who don't want to take action, who don't have the courage, job is the best place. So if someone listening to the podcast, you've got the courage, you've got this concept of taking massive action, whether you have a skill or not doesn't matter. Business is the place for you to go for you to go and you can develop it. But if you don't have the courage, you don't have the massive action taking concept, please stay in a job, be happy over there. 9 to 5 is where you need to be.
Though I don't know if all jobs are 9 to 5, though. Not in this day and age.
I think all jobs are no more 9 to 5. I should correct. It's more of 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. now. People are working throughout. And worst is after COVID, it's like you're working from office, then you come home and you're working from home also. So and then I think that I will do your own business now. Why work for someone else then?
But one of the amazing things what happens, right, when you work in a job and then you run your own business, you get a chance to meet, have some fantastic memories of leaders, of people you have met. Okay, so what are your memories, of some of the people with whom you have worked and the great stuff that you carry with them, their traits that help you also grow?
I think I've had multiple bosses from 98 to 2009 in my jobs of 12 years. I've had bosses in Bangalore. I've had bosses in Bombay whom I've worked with. I've had bosses in Dubai when I did my last job in Dubai. And then recently, last 3 years, also I was with a Indian influencer who also was my boss. I mean, it was more of I thought it was my business, but it turned out to be a job. So while all of this is there, right? Some of my bosses have been amazing and I would love to name them. Okay, there's this first gentleman called Ashok Raghavan, who was someone I learned my articleship from. Phenomenal human being in terms of just so massive on action. I mean, this man, I know his birthdays used to be on October 30th or his anniversary. I don't know which one of it. And October 30th would be time of filing for all the chartered accountants and all that. He would relentlessly work. It didn't matter what it was. And the kind of work ethic he had. And he's the first person I realized play hard, work hard, both at the same time. He would go and live his life to the fullest, which he does till date, and he would work hard to the fullest. So, and one of the traits I learned from him, everything is possible. Any challenge that came with anything, he would just go and solve it. He never had this thought of, is it difficult? Is it easy? You're like, okay, just come, let's solve it. Right? That was one. Another gentleman whom I love, I adore, I respect a lot is one of my bosses in RSM. His name is Devashish Das Gupta. One person who I count a lot after dad, because we learned from dad networking and how human connection is. I learned from Debuda, and I still follow a lot. I'm not in touch with him, and I still follow a lot of his stuff of how to connect with people and how you as a leader in corporate world can inspire people to work when you can go at their level and you can still build up, right? There's another person in network marketing days of mine called Digvijay Singh. Okay, we used to call him Diggy Bhai. An exemplary example of leadership, a man who knows how, when you're working with someone and if he's your junior, how you take your hand like as a friend to him, and then how you shift it back also over here as a senior. Beautiful learning. I think these three people have played key roles, other than dad, of course, in understanding people. And I've had ridiculous bosses also. One of my bosses I remember in my early CA days was so crazy. I don't want to name him. He would work 24/7. He would make his team work 24/7. And that was the reason I ran away from the job in 10 days. I mean, 10 months. 10 months, I said, Kalas, I can't work with this kind of a man. So, yes, jobs actually have taught me a lot in terms of what to do as a leader and what not to do as a leader, both.
So that that actually helps you grow, right? So when you move into entrepreneurship, that view that you carry from corporate, right, becomes a huge thing for you on how you view leadership, right?
Yes.
So what
Yes.
what are the things that you look out for when in as an entrepreneur you're looking for your next set of leaders? What kind of traits are you looking at?
First trait I would look like, okay, so right now I've got about 8, 9 people working with me in my team, which is just 20 days old. He's less than 20 days old, actually. Right. And we're running multiple companies right now. The first thing I look in a person, if he's got to be a part of my team and we want to see him grow, is how good are his human skills.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, any technical skill can be learned, it can be acquired, but your human skill also can be acquired. I'm not saying it can't be, but then you as a human being carry certain personal value systems, and if those personal value systems do not match, that's a person I would never take working with me as an entrepreneur, right? Unless and until the personal value systems of, are you someone who's a giver, are you someone who's a server, are you someone who's, now bolte na ki sevak, are you someone who you're serving people, or are you working with people? Because if you're working with people, I would not take that person. Like, one of the concepts of leadership that I've seen, I've learned from people, right, from Tony Robbins and people in my networking days, is a concept called servant leadership, right? And that has today become a very essential part of any and everything I do, right? So even when it comes to the leadership, the co-founders I've got with me, 3, 4 of them, the team we've taken on, everyone comes from a thought process that client first. If he is investing money with us, how do we give him 4x, 5x of return? While client first, the team also stands at the same place. It's not the team higher, client lower, client higher, team low. No, they both equally play. And the thing that I've always realized is, when we hire people, we want to see whether they have the potential of becoming A players. Whether they are there or not when they start doesn't matter, right? Because who's trained them, how they've been taught, how their culture's been set up, we do not know. But do they have the potential, and do their values match? So if these two things come to play, we love to take people on board on
I
this.
mean, that's the kind of people that you look out for. Do you think like in
Yes.
the corporate world also, people look for traits similar or different? Because as an entrepreneur, you have a choice. Not in the
Yeah.
corporate world is what I think.
Nah. So I still feel corporate world runs more by the degrees. I don't know still if it runs, because I left my last corporate in 2009, right? Then I know very clearly it was still degrees and all that. If it's still the same, it's stupid, because degrees don't make a company. I mean, it's stupid to look at a person's qualifications about what the person can do, has done, and can be an enabler to become. So corporates still, I think, work on this concept of kitana, how long, how many degrees have you got, what's your
How many
percentage been,
certificates do you have? Have you
how
taken
many
the latest
certificates you have.
certification?
I don't, I mean, we've got people in our team who are graduates, people who come from Marathi medium. They are my co-founders with me. It's not about where they come from, it's about what they are and what they have the potential of becoming. And they're amazing human beings. Amazing human beings.
I agree with you. I mean, this is a debate that I have constantly with people, where they reject a resume because this person has 20 years of experience but does not have a certain certificate required for the role. I'm like, he has the experience. You put a horse into the race that has experience, not a horse that has a certificate that it can run fast, right? It's
Oh,
amazing how
sorry.
people do this mistake time and time again.
So but I bet you, Chirag bhai, I think a couple of decades from now, this whole nonsense of this degrees is gonna go. The world cannot be working anymore on degrees. The degrees will go. I mean, we will have more entrepreneurs coming on play. We will have people who will be more self-employed than employed, because one is, of course, with AI coming in, a lot of chat GPTs like replace all the content writers today, right? So all that coming into play, that will change. The corporate will reduce because of the world change. But I think more than that, people want to be self-employed. They do not want to be. So either they are very happy having one skill, selling that skill for their life, earning, enjoying living, or it's about let me build something which impacts, and that's when they want to become an entrepreneur.
I like that. I remember an incident, and I would love if you can share it in your own words. When you switched from a corporate career, there was one specific incident that happened, if I'm not wrong, with your supervisor in Dubai. Okay, and I know that switched off. And I don't want to name the company, I don't want to name anything else, but I would love to listen to that story. It's one of those incidents.
Okay, so it was in Dubai, and this gentleman I was working with, fantastic human being, a great leader. But sometimes what happens, and this recently happened with a few other people I know, and probably with me also it is. It's like when you're growing in a company, and when the management realizes that this person could be a threat, and they overnight take the person off. Like this gentleman was fantastic. He was called in for a meeting. While he was called for a meeting, his laptop was data was getting erased, and whatever, all the IT was doing the work. And in the 30 minutes, then he was given a severance pay of 3 months and told to go after working 18 years and practically building that company. And that, I think, was a massive wake up call for me. I fortunately was in my goodbye period then. I had already quit my job. I was into networking then. And it was a big realization that a owner of a company can get insecure if the next level is or can be a potential threat. And this was 2000, early 2000, I mean late 2000, not after 10, it was 8 9.
Okay.
One thing I realized over a period of time, which is how my concept of my entrepreneurship journey works. We've created in all our companies, we've created a platform where anyone who works with us as an employee, of course, ESOPs and all that come into play, but we take them from 0 to 8 year of journey of becoming a partner with us as a shareholder. Because we are very clear. We are going to create a 1,000 crore group, Life Magic Group. We know we're going to have multiple businesses, and people who work with us who've got the right attitude, who've got the concept of serving, who've got the concept of growing, they will end up becoming part owners. Because at the end of the day, what really matters is how secure you are here. When people remove the threats out, it just means they've got a very mediocre mindset. They are really scared of, oh, मेरी position चली जाएगी, मेरा गद्दा चला जाएगा, whatever nonsense.
Yeah.
But none of us are here permanently. Unless and until an entrepreneur does not understand his exit strategy of a business, then what's the point? I mean,
What's
exit
the point?
strategy, not maybe as a shareholder of the company, but exit strategy as an entrepreneur. Like, I intend to build what I'm building for a few years and give it for someone else to run it, because that
Correct.
person is going to come with bigger, better ideas and make it bigger. There's no point holding on to a seat. I mean,
Correct.
everyone died. Steve Jobs died. Things happen,
Yeah.
right? Apple's still going after that. 15
Yeah.
years getting launched.
Correct. Correct. So, one of the things that I realized, uh, you share a journey of 8 years with the people who join your team, right? So, one of the things I think is that's one of the amazing ways to inspire your team to be with you. And when you show them a roadmap that hey, in 8 years you have a possibility of going there, it also brings the best out of them. I mean, do you use anything else to inspire them more and continue to bring the best out of them?
We have a simple logic of no sir, no madam concept.
Okay.
Everyone is called by first name. I mean, I may be the founder of the company. It does not matter. Everyone's called by the first name. We do not keep those bureaucracies into play. Even if he's the junior most guy in my team who could be earning just maybe a 40, 50,000, he and me could still sit together and eat from the same plate. We do not believe that your designation or your income shows the group you're supposed to be. Now, unless and until the guys in the organization do not work with all of us, how will they also grow?
Correct.
Unless they don't sit and rub shoulders with the top guys, how will they grow? Like, I end up working and spending time with a lot of people who are way better than me, right? It could be some from our relatives group. There are many, like there's a gentleman called Sneh Desai. I'm learning a lot from him right now. There's Tony Robbins I learned. So there is so much, like how we rub shoulders with the guys seniors, we want the juniors to rub shoulders with us. So we are very clear with these things, and we have a clear cut policy in the company. We don't say 6 days, 7 days working. We don't check the time of them working. We don't say punch in this time, punch in that time, nothing. But our clear policy is you got to take 100 days off in a year. You can take
Nice.
50 to Saturdays, 50 to Sundays, up to you. You can choose to take 1 month non-stop in the beginning of the year, one in the middle, one in the end. We don't care. And you work 7 days a week after that. But the point is, it's your freedom of taking 1/3 of the year off. And you choose. We don't care. You want to take a whole quarter. Ensure that you've told us in advance, so we organize the work like that. But then the balance 3/4, you work 7 days a week. That's absolutely people's choice. Of course, most of them end up taking the route of, okay, let me take a Sunday off, and then maybe I'll take 20 days off here and 10 days there. The important thing is we are being very flexible with our team, because one thing I realized is the more flexible you are with them, the more they give back.
And that's a good point. One of the things you mentioned was eating from the same plate and rubbing shoulders with the seniors, right? One of the amazing things that I have, okay, I'm being sarcastic. One of the amazing things that I see in the corporate world uh, is if you're at a certain designation, okay, you would go to lunch with only people of that designation. You would not go down to the person who's just walked into the company and sit and say, hey, let's have a casual chat. Okay, that's one of the most funny things I notice in a corporate organization. And I always wonder, okay, why is it so hard? You may not have a common topic, but that's fine. It takes 15 minutes to have your lunch. Okay, but imagine how much you will inspire the person who has just joined your company with whom you have had lunch. I mean, I think like that. So,
It's inspiration, one, and second, you're bringing in loyalty. Because in
yeah,
today's time, when a person leaves the company and goes, it's not just about, no, oh, okay, there's a loss and we got to change and get a new person in. Is the amount of time and money and energy invested in the new guy again to get him to that old guy's place.
correct,
So it's like this, right? Like, if the top management does not decide or does not understand that if in a cafeteria there are 10 top management and there are 20 tables, all the 10 should be on different tables. They should
yes,
be talking to
yes,
different people every day. They should be I
exactly.
mean, the more the lowest guy knows the chairman, I mean, which is something, again, Ratan Tata, absolute inspiration. His stories are so many of him interacting with the Darban of the hotel, right? And that is true servant leadership.
Correct, correct, correct. I love it. I love it. So, I'm going to ask you some tough questions.
Okay.
What keeps you awake at night?
What keeps me awake at night? Actually, I sleep very sound, but if there was something that would keep
Peaceful
me awake at
person.
night, yeah, I sleep, finish. But if there's something that would keep me awake at night is if I'm not delivering what my client expects me to in terms of work. And second, it would be if I had a team that was not growing. Because if there is a team that's there, monetary wise, people don't mind if it's up and down. But if they do not see growth for themselves, they do not see recognition and appreciation for themselves, that's the reason people leave. Money is one aspect. Money is those people who leave for money were anyway never meant to be with you, right? So
Right.
that's the
Yeah.
point.
Okay. The second tough question is it's a journey, right? It's a journey of 20 plus years. If you were to change anything, what would it be and why?
Okay.
Tough one. I told you it's
It's
a tough one.
working. It's been 25 years. I would never work in a job.
Okay.
If I got back, I would sell bananas on the road and start building a business. But I would not have never work in a job, because I do realize that the prime years of my life I wasted in a job. yes, I did learn things. No two questions about it. No two questions. But I could have learned those things from great coaches like Tony Robbins and great people like Sadhguru, right? But yeah, I would actually start selling bananas on the road.
I remember both of us were speaking to this roadside Pani Puri guy, okay, who mornings travels in a Mercedes, but in the evening puts on a typical lungi and then serves Pani Puri. Remember, we were speaking like he's an
Yeah,
uneducated
yeah.
and he makes tons of money. If money were a criteria of
Tons of money.
success.
It's an entrepreneur. Education has got no logic to success. Most of the uneducated people are the most successful guys in the world because education, I think, screws you up to a large extent. The traditional
Puts,
education,
yeah,
traditional education,
it fences your mind basically.
big time.
All right. How do you spend your weekends?
Oh, with my son,
Okay,
he uh, he is everything to me. I mean, as much as I love my job, as much as I love my business, my work, everything. For me, true leadership comes and starts from home. I made mistakes in my past on my leadership at family front, but yes, correcting them now. And that's why for me, weekends is very clear. Saturday, Sundays with my son. So we are usually watching movies, playing around, playing football. We going out to different places, eating, cooking together. We even have things like we've created a spinner wheel and we spin it, and what comes in that we do that stuff. So yeah,
awesome.
we have for me, weekends is my son.
Yes. This someone long ago had asked me, Chirag, so what's your designation now? I said, tough question. Okay, my first designation I know was son, brother, husband. Okay, and I'm hoping for the next promotion to grandfather actually. I think those
Still have
designations
some time.
actually matter more than any other designation.
I think only those titles matter, those things matter. Anything that we do in work front is there today, may not be there tomorrow, will not be there day after. What we can leave as an impact to people, to our family, to our loved ones matters the most.
I agree. I agree. Last question, if someone were to start their journey today, I know your typical suggestion is, hey, do something of your own. But what would your advice be? What are the things they need, if they wanted to do their own or if they wanted to follow your path from a chartered accountant to an entrepreneur?
It depends actually, honestly, on the age that they are in. If they're in the 20s, go out, make mistakes, fall. Doesn't matter, fail 100 times if you're in your 20s. If you're in your 30s, fail. Please be ready for failure. Please have the strength to stand up. Why? Because the guys in 20s, they won't care. They'll keep standing up. The guys in 30s will keep running on their mind. Oh, do I need to go back to a job? Should I stay? Should I not? Should I stay? Should I not? If you're in your 40s, look at the skill that you have. Based on the skill you have, start your entrepreneurship journey. If you're in your 50s, go back to a place why your 30 years is a thing that has been so bad that you want to start an entrepreneur journey, and think of the advice you want to give to people and start something where you can coach them on where you've gone wrong. That's a good place to start. But either ways, for all of the people, whoever wants to be an entrepreneur's journey, please go through it once in your lifetime. 1 decade of entrepreneurship will teach you what 2 decades of education won't. Probably rather 2 years of entrepreneurship will be 2 decades of education.
Amazing. Thank you. That I think is the thing for people to carry away that, 2 months to 2 decade, when 2 years of entrepreneurship can beat 2 decades of education. That's definitely a takeaway.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Okay.
So much.
And I will see you when I'll see you.
Yeah. See you. Bye.